arms with the towel. "No," Bell said, shaking his head with a frown. "That's not it." As Wynne knelt and dried whiskey, he remained frozen, completely immobile. Whatever in the world is going on? I wrapped a towel around my head turban style. "You know, this reminds me of the time I went to my 10th grade dance with Jake Pulaski. He had hands like an octopus. I swear he was the grabbiest guy I'd ever gone out with. So, anyway, we're slow dancing to I'll Never Break Your Heart, and he made a grab for a place he knew better than to grab, and I said, 'Don't you move another muscle.' And guess what? He froze. Right there in the middle of the gym dance floor in front of everyone. Just like whiskey," I whispered. "I knew it!" Belfry shouted, circling the room with a squeak of joy. "I knew that's what I smelled!" Wynne rose and grabbed a towel for his own hair and began to scrub it dry. "I'm afraid this is a loop I'm not privy to. I don't understand what you smell, mate, or how it relates to Jake and whiskey. Though I assure you, if I ever run into this bloke Jake Pulaski, I shall show him what the 5-fingered death punch is." I winced, but I was more concerned with why this was happening to whiskey. Belfry was connecting dots I wasn't. "So what are you smelling, Belle?" "Magic, boss!" he chirped excitedly. "Magic! I smell bona fide, real, live magic!" I cocked my head and sniffed the air again. Maybe it had been so long I wasn't able to remember what it smelled like. Or maybe Belle had gone quite literally bananas. "I don't smell it," I said with a dull tone. No way was I going to get my hopes up again only to be crushed like a cracker at the bottom of the box. Nope, not this time. "Then explain whiskey," he coaxed. "Whiskey and Jake Pulaski. Explain them." I pinched my temples. My head hurt, but I'll get to why later. For the moment, I was stumped. "I can't explain it, Belle. I just said some words. Words I've said a zillion times to whiskey, and you know how fluky my magic could be back in the early days when I was still learning. Jake was just a product of that." I looked at my sweet dog, drier and fluffier now. But whiskey? I didn't do anything special. Bell sighed and narrowed his tiny eyes at me. "But you did! You were worried whiskey was going to make a mess, and when Jake got fresh with you at that dance, you were angry. Those emotions sparked your magic." I rolled my eyes and headed toward the laundry room off the kitchen where I had a bathrobe hanging on a hook. Closing the door, I blew out a breath of air and began pulling my clothes off. That's baloney, and you know it, Belle. I've had tons of glitches before, and it's led to absolutely nothing. I make icebergs the size of the Empire State Building in the backyard, and then months go by before anything else happens. "But that wasn't the same, boss. I didn't smell the magic I'm smelling now. It's different. It's very different." My heart skipped a beat, but I quelled the butterflies of hope in my belly with a mental stomp. I refused to get excited over something that never seemed to come to fruition. As I shrugged my arms into my bathrobe, I scoffed. Baloney on a stick. I'm not going to buy into this nonsense again. Not this time. For now, we need to find out how to help whiskey. I popped open the door and found Wynne and Belfry now in the middle of the kitchen, where they'd moved a still frozen-in-place whiskey. My heart started to thud in my chest. What if it really had been my magic that had done this? How could I fix it? I bit the nail on my thumb. What if I can't bring him back? What if he's like this forever? I asked.